What's up, guys? We are about 24 hours away from Aion Classic's launch, and now we have an official start time for the servers on June 23rd, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or 6 p.m. CEST. So those are the times. If it's not one of your time zones, just convert it over. Again, 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. They're also going to do some server firsts. So they talked about this right here. So the first person to reach level 50 will get a special title, quote unquote legendary status. The first brigade general of the first legion to capture a fortress. So that's pretty cool. The first to reach 1-star officer rank. That's the PvP rank. The first to gain Slayer buff through PvP. That means you killed a whole bunch of people in Rifting, and that's actually not a buff, it's a debuff, if I remember correctly. So it's going to make you weaker and show you your icon on the map, which shows everyone where you are, so they know to come and hunt you down. I mean, it's kind of cool cat and mouse thing. I don't know the debuff aspect, how weak you get, if it's like a small debuff, or if there is no debuff anymore. You know, it's been forever since we've done rifting and had buffs, debuffs like this. But yeah, that's what the Slayer buff is. So it's a rifting, and if you've killed a whole bunch of people, and then your character appears on the map like the little icon showing you, hey, come go kill this dude. He is a menace to society. Then we also have the first team to kill Chrome the Corrupt, which is the Fire Temple, if I remember correctly. And then there's also the first team to slay the Brigade General Bakram, which I don't know which instance that is, but it is going to be one of the higher end ones. Darpin Cave sounds about familiar, if I said that right, or called it right. Yeah, so these are pretty cool. No, firsts on the servers are going to be nice things. I believe it's server specific. So the fastest player to complete each challenge will unlock exclusive titles. It doesn't say server specific, but I'm assuming it is going to be server specific. I would hope so. Some people are also asking for this to be the first for each character to get these titles because, some characters level faster than others, etc., etc. So big news, though. We have the time for the launch. We have some firsts. Unfortunately, only one person is going to get these titles. So these are going to be very, very exclusive titles. Maybe a couple others will get the first to reach level 50 if they do different classes and things like that. So we'll see. But overall, this is a cool thing. All right, so let's get into some of the bad stuff. So this is what I talked about beforehand on Reddit and places like that, the forums, that the game don't necessarily die to pay to win. Pay to win is in almost every single MMORPG there is. Black Desert is a great example of this. Black Desert is extremely pay to win, has, cash shop, that there's things that you have to get, that you have to buy to be competitive, and you can't earn them in game, and so forth. So anyway, pay to win is going to be here to stay. Like, unless it's a sub only with no cash shop or only cosmetic, yeah. Like, Ashes of Creation, for example, who their whole premise is this is not a pay-to-win game. It never will be. We will never sell, an advantage or anything like that. So, come into the mindset with the game is pay-to-win. Some people interpret it that the NCSoft West Division is saying that, hey, we're going to re-release Aion Classic and we're going to, tweak it to the West and it's going to be no pay-to-win. But they've never actually said that it's not going to be pay-to-win. They've never said this. So some people have this assumption that, they're going to change it and make it so, we don't have pay to win. We don't, it's going to be fair. It's going to be balanced. No, they've never said this. But people defend them for that kind of phrase. And then when you do something shady like this, a lot of people don't even know that there's going to be a battle pass, and it's going to be called the Deva Pass. And there's going to be a cash shop with cosmetic purchases. So there was an announcement in the Discord by the community manager here talking about just those two things. The cash shop and then the Deva Pass, which is the battle pass for our region. Let's go over here. It says Aion Classic will be using a premium currency called Quana. I guess that's how you say it, which is available for purchase, not attainable via in-game methods. Quanta will be necessary to upgrade the seasonal Deva Pass to unlock premium rewards, and also can be used to purchase cosmetics as well as account services from the in-game Quanta shop. Quanta is a currency specific to Classic and currently does not exchange to or from the BCC coin or the NC coin at this time. This is crazy news to launch right beforehand. So NCSoft has these things called NC coins, which you buy and you're supposed to be able to use for like all the NCSoft games, for example. Then they also had a more specific coin, which is like the Black Cloud coin for the Aion version. So what they're saying too is that you cannot even use your old premium currency that you bought for the Aion Classic, which that's kind of, wow, that's like a slap in the face to old players that have actually been supporting NCSoft. But not terrible. But then they go into a little bit of detail of like, yeah, this is to unlock the premium rewards and also cosmetics from the cash shop. Because really up to this point, we haven't really heard much about the cash shop. And even so, they're still not talking about the cash shop. There's a bigger response earlier, I believe it's in the Discord as well, which it says, we don't know what's going to be in the Deva Pass. So the Deva Pass is kind of like, quote unquote, up in the air, and you'll find out about it when you launch the game. That's pretty BS. That's pretty bullshit that the community manager is already been like, hey, I don't really know what's in the Deva Pass. Just check it out in game and then, buy it later. Like, so sorry if you pre-ordered and you thought there wasn't going to be a battle pass and you thought there wasn't going to be like crowns or coins or, cash stuff in there. Like, sorry, I don't know, but bullshit. You know what's in there. You already have this. The game is going live in less than 24 hours. You know what's in the past. You just don't want to tell the community, and that's an extremely shady thing to do. So right here, many questions about the Deva Pass, so let's address this. The Deva Pass will be available at launch, and most, if not all, relevant details should be available in clients. That said, we will follow up with a promotional post in the days following launch. The Deva Pass will have a free progression portion, which everyone will receive. If you decide you're enjoying Classic enough to support it by purchasing the premium option, you will unlock all the premium rewards going forward, as any premium rewards you've progressed through the prior upgrade. Other than this, and the in-game details, look forward to that article soon after launch. So, this is super shady by a company, and it happens every single time a game gets released. These companies, they don't tell you everything that they're selling you. They don't tell you all the details about the cash shop. It's a lot of bait and switch. And this is the thing that kills the games. This is the feature that kills games, not the pay-to-win aspect. People are okay with pay-to-win, even though it sucks, and even though it's not fair. It's an acceptable evil that is allowed in gaming. There's always going to be someone who has more money, more time, that's going to have an advantage in a game. But what people really hate, and what is really screwed up, is when you lie to people to their face, withhold information, and sucker them into buying something, like a founder's pack. And then once they've pre-purchased things, now you're like, oh yeah, by the way, I've got this over here, which gives you some extra stats and some extra gold. I didn't want to tell you about it until you already spent $100 on our game. But, you really need this stuff if you want to play our game. It's only going to cost you an additional $25. And then after you buy that, then it's like, ooh, oh, since you bought that, let me suck another $20 out of you. I got this really cool upgrade feature that I can give you. And then they just keep nickel and diming you to death. And that is the thing that kills these companies and these games, is because when you get nickeled and dimed to death, you don't feel good about it. People don't mind pay to win. Honestly, Black Desert is the example I'm always going to use because it's been probably the most successful MMORPG of the last 10 years, and it is, publicly known to be a pay-to-win game. So they've had great numbers. They went from, I believe it was like a $50 game down to pretty much a free-to-play game with some other things and cash shop, etc. They tried different business models, tweaking things here and there. But overall, the game has lived and survived and thrived with lots and lots of subscribers. So if games die because it's pay to win, well, Black Desert wouldn't be pretty much the most successful MMO of the last 10 years. Maybe Final Fantasy XIV has something to say about this. They're also very, very successful, but I don't know too much about their business model and, if they're pay to win or not, etc. So we use Black Desert as the example. With that being said, if you're upfront and honest about these things, the community around your game is they're conditioned to be forgiving, and they're conditioned to accept pay to win. Pay to win has been around for the last about 25 years now, once the game started mainly going free to play. So it's just like, hey, most people like games that are free, and they're like, okay, yeah, there's going to be a cash shop, sure. I don't really pay much, but, if something comes up, maybe I'll throw a couple dollars here and there. People are conditioned to expect games to be free now, and there to be a cash shop, and that, things are tradable so that they can get them. And if someone else bought it, they can just buy it off them with, in-game currency. People are trained about this stuff. They're okay with this stuff. They'll rationale it and say, like, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as, WoW or whatever, or another game that's super pay to win. It's not as bad as XYZ, for example. So they're rationing like, oh, it's not terrible, or like, at least we're getting this game to come back. That's the big rationale for Aion Classic. At least we're getting a re-release of Aion Classic. We should be thankful that we're getting it. So again, the player's rationale that it's okay. But the thing that people don't like is being lied to, and then what that causes anger. That causes anger, distrust, and then rage. And what happens is these players go to the forums, they go to Reddit, they go to Facebook, they go to Twitter, they go to TikTok, they go to all the social platforms, and they start bashing the company for BS practices, for lying to them, for fraud. And they cause an uproar because they are doing these things. They are being fraudulent. They are being shady. And people call them out on this stuff. And so that spreads up a wildfire. And then they also cite pay to win, pay to win, pay to win as the main claim to fame of why the game sucks and why the game is dying. And pay to win gets tossed in there because that's the easiest thing to just claim everything and claim that the games are dying because of pay to win. When in reality, it's not pay to win that kills the game. It's the lying and the deceit that kills the game. It's the anger from the community. If you have a game that the community is all happy and excited for, it doesn't matter if, you have a cash shop and you're forcing them to buy pets that loot for you, or for example, like, if the community overall is happy, they're going to flush out these angry posts online. And like, when people claim, oh, the game is pay to win, you're going to have a lot of white knights coming up and be like, no, buying a pet that loots for you is not pay to win. Like, get out of here. If you can't afford $5 or $10 or $15 a month, get out of here. You're going to have the white knights come and defend the game. But when there is fraud and shady stuff like this, when like concealing cash shop items, concealing what they're doing, not telling the truths about the marketplace, what's in, loot boxes and things like that. What are the odds or the chances of getting things, kind of how they combat bots, if they are going to combat bots. Like, when they don't communicate these problems and these issues, and then they lie about things like, yeah, we're going to kill bots, we're going to stop the, gold selling, we're going to stop these things. And when you see it in game and you're like, there's 100 bots, there's an army of bots, there's tons of just RMT cash shops being advertised in game. Like, literally, I log in 5 minutes, I see 15 RMT cash shops advertised in game. It tells you that the community is lying, the community manager's lying, the company is lying, that they're not killing the bots, that they're not taking care of, illegal actions. They're not killing the hackers. It's kind of like a free reign. Yes, sure, maybe those bots do die, and maybe they do ban some bots here and there, but they don't put things in place to prevent them from coming back. And then after a time, they end up losing the war of attrition, and they just like, yeah, screw it, whatever. We're not going to kill any more bots. Like, we've killed 1,000 today. We're going to leave these other 1,000 here. And then the bots they're relentless. They keep building more armies of bots, more people to sell the gold to, and keep building up these, these armies against the company. And again, at that point, it gets to a point where the community manager and the company is just like, screw it. It's not really worth our time and effort to, police these things. We're just going to let it go and give up on policing these bots and these hackers and things like that. So when those things happen, the community rightfully gets angry and mad because, like, hey, you told us this was going to be a fair game. You told us you were going to, police the game. You told us that cheating is bad and cheating is wrong, but now you're not doing anything, or it appears you're not doing anything. And that's the thing, is the perception of them not attacking the bots, the perception of them not killing the RMT sites. That is the problem. They very, very well be killing 1,000 bots a day. But if the bots are creating 2,000 a day, it doesn't really matter. The bots are still winning this war. So these things are what the community sees actively. And when you're playing these games, you see bots, you see RMT, you see hackers. Like, when you see these things and they're telling you on their official posts and stuff like, hey, no, we take care of this. It's cheating. It's bad. Don't do it. You're going to get your account banned. And then you see it over and over and over again, day after day after day. This builds to that anger and distrust in the company that they're simply lying to you. And yeah, like, they probably are. Sure, they're not going to let every bot live, and sure, they can't catch everyone, and sure, they do ban some people that, shouldn't be banned, but they could be doing a lot more. There could be GMs in game that are actively monitoring and nuking. The cool thing with Aion is, I remember back in the day that if you had a GM, the GM could come in there and simply like drop a big nuke or a bomb on the bots that were doing the private store and then just blow them up, like literally just blow them up in game. And it was a cool spectacle to see, like, a GM actually destroy bots. So, like, if people see that, that is good for the game and good for the perception of the game. But they need more active GMs that are doing this. They can't just have one GM for like 10 servers. That's not going to work. They need at least one GM per server, and they need them to be active, no more than 8 hours a day. So if you have 10 servers, you're probably going to need at least 3 GMs per server, because you need them to work 8 hours and then, get off and then have another GM come on 8 hours. But the companies don't invest in GMs to clean up the games like that. And that's what players want to see and actively need to see in games for them to realize, like, okay, yeah, they're actively trying, but the bots are just too relentless. So, okay, maybe I shouldn't hack. Maybe I shouldn't RMT. Maybe I shouldn't do these illegal things because my account might actually get banned. And that threat of being banned prevents a lot of the stuff. So if the threat is there, you're more likely not to RMT by an illegal website, because you're going to be scared that you're going to not only lose your account, but you're going to lose the money that you spent on the gold. If the threat of being banned for hacking and cheating is there, you're going to think twice about hacking and cheating, because you're spending money on the hack program, and then you're going to be using it in a game. You might end up losing all the time and effort that you put on your character. So when they actively see these things that are being active on and they're removing bad actors, this makes it easier for them to keep combating it, because the less players that are actively buying our gold or cheating, it makes it easier for the GMs to do their job. But at the beginning of a server, you need to have a lot of GM support. You need to have a lot of people looking out for the bad actors and cutting them down fast. If they let them grow and live, it's not good. It's not good for the game. It's not good for the server. And with anything that is a PvP related game and competitive related game, you need to cut them down fast. Because if things start spiraling out of control, you get accusations on the leaderboards. Be like, hey, the top player is hacking. Hey, the top player is macroing. Hey, the top player is, cheating using this program. Hey, the top player is buying gold. Like, you will get all these accusations. And yeah, it's probably easy enough for them to go and verify the logs to see what the top player has done on the server and to see if they actually are cheating or exploiting by any way. But that's not going to stop the accusations from coming, and they need to manually be investigating all these accusations to make sure that the community trusts them enough to believe what they say. Once you lose the community's trust, that's when the game starts to die, and you have no white knights that are defending the game. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I will talk to you guys later. I am excited for Aion Classic, but I am expecting the worst and hoping for the best. See you guys in game.